Hi everyone, hope you're doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, today I was listening to our own political analyst, Professor Herman Manyora, who also happened to be a communication strategist. And Manora has a solicited advice for the Deputy President regarding Gachagua. According to Herman Manyora, he is telling Gachagua that he should not keep quiet, then continuously keep on praising William Samoei Ruto when Ruto is openly delegating all the duties in his office to Musalia Mudavadi while leaving him as a flower girl in the office. According to Manyora, Rigathi Gachagua should come out and tell off William Samoei Ruto to stop the shenanigan and reclaim his space as the deputy president, because the presidency comprises of the president and the deputy president. And if you check on the executive order number 1 of 2023, which we have already analyzed the other day, it's very clear that William Ruto is finally making Musalia Mudavadi the engine of his government. Mudavadi will be where evaluation of the government project will be happening. Mudavadi will be where the delivery of the government project will be happening. That means his hands is on anything to do with the operation in William Ruto's government. But then he leave Rigathi Gachagua to deal with the issue of Nairobi River, tea and coffee. Listen to Manora first, then we'll continue with this discussion.
So you can't cut off Gachagua, put him down here and say he's in competition with Mudavadi. How?
And that's why I'm asking, what does this mean for Gachagua himself? Because in our previous video you said
early enough,
all powerful. Ruto is all
it
powerful. Must
be. Let me tell you this. We lived with these shenanigans of Ruto and Uhuru for 4 or 5 years, and we have paid for it. There's a lot of things we ought to have done as a country we didn't do. And the elections have gone the way they have gone, partly because of the mess we are. I would urge Gachagua, who is my friend, I would urge Rick G. He calls himself as he is having something behind. Rick G.
Yeah.
Man, Rick G. I would urge him to sit with the president and sort this thing out. Let him get annoyed if he wants. Let the president get annoyed if he wants. But tell him I'm not going to be part of such an arrangement. It's not good for the country. You are setting bad precedents. Uhuru messed by tossing around the deputy president. Of course, not as much as we want to be told.
Yeah.
Ruto is introducing more mess.
Now, I don't want to analyze Professor Herman Manyora's analysis, but one question I want to ask on this punchline. If Rigathi Gachagua would decide to defy William Ruto way of governance, will he survive? That's the question we want to try and answer here. But before we go deep into that, just a quick request for those who are watching and you're not to subscribe, please consider to subscribe. To our returning subscribers, thank you so much. And again, to all our viewers, please give our video a thumbs up. Thank you, and back to this discussion. Now, if you ask me that question, whether Rigathi Gachagua will survive politically, my answer is no. I'm saying no, and of course, I will explain to you in 4 or 5 points the reason why I'm believing that if Gachagua decides to face William Samoei Ruto and tell him the truth, he might end up into a political oblivion. Number 1, Gachagua is not strongly politically grounded. This is just a 5 years experienced politician, 1-term member of parliament, and then a former DO, a man who has been used to giving directions. His word is the law, because he was working in Moi era. That means he don't have proper experience. But the man he's dealing with, William Samoei Ruto, is a man who has experience more than 30 years. So when you talk about William Ruto, you are comparing people like Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi, Martha Karua, Wetangula, those ones. people who have 20 years and above experience in politics. But Gachagua is experimenting. So Ruto might have many means to deal with Rigathi Gachagua. If he tries that, he might get it wrong at most. Number two, we just try to compare here between William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta government, then Ruto Gachagua government. You know, Ruto had full control of Rift Valley when he was joining with Uhuru Kenyatta. Because he had that full control of Rift Valley through URP party, which later emerged with the TNA to make Jubilee. That means Ruto managed to have a half of appointment in Uhuru Kenyatta's government, whether it was in 2013 first term or second term in 2017. He proposed names to Uhuru Kenyatta for appointment, a half of it. The question I'm asking today, does Rigathi Gachagua have any clue on the people that William Ruto appointed from Mount Kenya region to his cabinet? Yes, we know he has appointed more people from Mount Kenya region. But were those people suggested by Rigathi Gachagua to William Ruto? The answer is no. So that means these people are not Rigathi Gachagua's people. These are the people for William Samoei Ruto. That tells you that then William Ruto, as of now, he has a direct control of Mount Kenya region. He does not necessarily need to go through Rigathi Gachagua to the mountain. That's why you could see Gachagua is trying to organize some kind of a homecoming to make William Ruto the kingpin of Mount Kenya region. Look at that. When necessarily he should be the one fighting for that space. So it means Ruto has a direct connection with the mountain. Uhuru Kenyatta had a connection of Rift Valley through William Ruto. If you try to fight William Ruto, then that means Ruto will easily replace him with another individual from Mount Kenya region. Because all of those CSS would not want a situation whereby they have someone who is fighting a president who has given them more privileges. They would rather side with the president because he's the one who appointed them. But not Gachagua, who don't have any clue on any of these individuals. At least kwa Musalia Mudavadi na Wetangula walikuwa wanapewa nafasi mbili mtu anakuja na watu wake. Alafu kuja kwa PS wanapewa nafasi 5 mtu analeta mtu wake hapo. But for Gachagua, this UDA party, it was William Ruto doing it direct. So that means it was deliberate with a plan, proper strategy behind it to have a direct control. Na mtu akileta nyenyenye anakuwa replaced immediately. So Gachagua, if you try that direction with the advice from our dear professor, he will be dealt mercilessly. He will be just replaced immediately. Another thing is that when Ruto was working with Raila, with the Uhuru Kenyatta, Ruto had a party called the URP, Uhuru had TNA. Gachagua is working with the William Ruto. Ruto has UDA party. Our party has invested his money, resource and time to build. Gachagua alikuja na nini? Nothing. Literally nothing. That means that if Gachagua want to launch a war on William Samoei Ruto, then it end up sour. Where will he go? Does he have any party that he has a direct control about? Does he have a plan to form even any single party? Is he even having any experience of running a political party? So that is another problem. So you see, he has nowhere to go once he differ with William Ruto. But at least Ruto, when he went with this URP party, he had his own people from Rift Valley na akina Duale kutoka kule areas zingine, northeastern. So even when he wanted to form the UDA party, it was easy to take his people from Jubilee party and then move with them to UDA. But Gachagua has nothing to move with to any new political party. That's another problem. So if he try this war, he don't have a political of his own. Therefore, his impact will be little. And then number 4, the worst of it is that now Gachagua from Mount Kenya region, he's now trying to launch another war with Uhuru Kenyatta. Again, many people in Mount Kenya region, politicians. That means the political class in Mount Kenya region has never embraced Rigathi Gachagua as their leader, either politically or socially. The people in Mount Kenya region were not voting for Rigathi Gachagua. They were just literally defying Uhuru Kenyatta. So, it is not easy for Gachagua to go through once he tried that direction. Umepigana na watu nyumbani, wanasiasa wengine hawakupendi, so they can easily replace you with either anaweza kuwa Ndindi Nyoro, anaweza kuwa hata Kithure Kindiki because he was the darling of the people, anaweza kuwa kama Kimani Ichung'wah, hata anaweza kuwa Anne Waiguru. There are so many people. Now, another one. If Rigathi Gachagua is going to respond to William Ruto by refusing to take the position he has given him, then launch war on Mulembe, that means he has declared the war between him and William Ruto. But then he need to borrow a leave from William Ruto. In as much Ruto had a total control of Rift Valley, he never openly fought Uhuru Kenyatta. Simply because he knew what was going to happen to him. Aliacha mpaka mwisho ndiye akaanza kuja nje. So if Gachagua will open this war right now, I think it might end up so ugly for him. As simple as that. And Gachagua should know that William Ruto is the first person in this country as a deputy president to become a president when the outgoing president is alive. And he might be the last person to ascend to power through that ranking. So if you think that becoming a deputy president, it elevates you to be the next president, that one also is a dream, a pipe dream. Sinivo, wanasema hivyo. So he should check our history. In as much Ruto went through the help of other individuals, of course, in this country, we know. He became the president. He might not be the next president because we still have our history here. It is very clear. We know because he will be carrying the baggage of this government. So it is not easy to re-elect such a team. And he should check also on the re-election of a sitting president. It becomes hard even during a campaign to convince anyone to vote for that side. So he should know, in as much as opening war, dividing the country, he will not become the next president after William Ruto. It will be another person.